We back. This time we're tackling full auto Soprano. I also have an important announcement today about the way I approach budget comps. The purpose of the budget comps is to help players achieve the minimum score with low invested gear and units. Up until now, I've been creating those comps using only farmable and selector units. However, starting now, I may include units that are featured in the current banners. That's right, if there's a usable unit on a banner, I'll include it in the budget comp. Some of these units might even be at level 120, but if they are, it's likely because they're worth the investment, but normally it's not needed. This approach will help keep gear requirements low and might even feature some of your favorite Awaken units. The goal remains the same, reaching at least 12k points. I'll be showcasing two setups, one for budget players and one for those with more invested resources. Let's dive in and see what I've got. Alright, so we're going with our usual way of dealing with this boss. A speed down comp. That is honestly the freest way to deal with this and get our minimum score. With budget characters, of course, right? Obviously, we could sit here and take in a juiced out Awaken comp and just blow the boss away and be done with it. That works too, but not everybody can do that. So we're gonna have fun with this a little bit. We're gonna sit there and slow this boss down so it takes ages for her to use her skill and knock us back. And seeing as we took the mod that lets her do this an infinite amount of times, it's rather annoying, so we definitely don't want to have to worry about that. Now, because we're using Surya, we can actually give the boss a little bit more attack. We could also lower HP, one or the other, but I just went with the attack. It gives a little bit more points normally, if I remember correctly. But Surya is going to sit here and buff up our team and keep most of our units nice and healthy. Except for Estiki. Estiki, unfortunately, is going to get absolutely blasted, but that's okay. He's serving his purpose. And I'm running Mika Star here. It's like I've tried this every different way with budget characters, but the knockback is just too much. And taking other mods is a little troublesome to deal with. But Mika just keeps the comp, like the gear requirements on this comp low. So yeah, I'm running her again. If I find a way around it, I'll eventually drop her someday. But you know, till then, all of our units get to stay awake, I guess. But yeah, there's really not much of a burst phase. We're just kind of sitting here, DPSing the boss as best as we can while keeping it slowed. Surya does help out with this, and the fact that her ultimate does true damage means that we don't actually need that many death breaks. She's pretty much our carry, so we kind of want to put our best gear on her if we can. If you have a speed, if you magically have a speed anti-tower, that'd be something. Jeez. But I'm guessing most people aren't going to have that. Attack's probably good. I still think A-Speed's better on her, so A-Speed melee damage would probably suit her just fine. I don't think Swift would work on her, but it is what it is. And like I was saying, you know, nice little 12k points here. We got 300 to spare. We can go to 35 seconds and still get the minimum score. Surya, of course, is being our #1 DPS. Budget team, we're running Chorus as a ship. It's a pretty good ship on auto, with Kim Hana as the operator. For gear, we're running full CDR on Hilde. Hilde doesn't really need any much more tank with her shields, so we need those shields to prevent us from getting knocked back. Laura's on full CDR, but CDR tank would be better for her. Estiki is on the jankest A-speed gear I have seen. But it's probably better to run some ground damage or ground res, depending. You saw Estiki dies, but ground res would help keep it alive. Gayun is on full A-speed gear. We want her shooting as quickly as possible because it's her passive that slows the boss. And then Chinatsu's on CDR as well, tanky CDR. We want those ultis and heals. Surya is on A speed. I do prefer A speed on her for this, just to buff our team more. We'll spam more ultimates. Gordon's is on some gear that gives some ground damage, but anti-tower attack would be better. And then Mika Star. Mika Star is the crutch of our team. She keeps us from going to sleep, so we need her to be able to live. So we just put whatever tank gear that we can afford onto her, give her some crit res. If it works, make sure she stays alive. Alright, so this definitely took me a little bit of time to figure out. This boss is really not fun on auto sometimes. There's a lot of specific requirements. I'll go over more in the gearing section, but a Hilde needs around 30% A speed and 25% skill haste in order to avoid getting knocked back. There's some tricks you can do on manual to sit there and, well, keep her from being knocked back, but that's on manual, so we're auto gamers right now. But we're gonna have a, Aegeus in there shielding up our team. We're gonna summon the boys with Kurian, and we're gonna get a little platoon of disposable units here because they will not live very long. But after that, Swan's gonna come out. Swan's gonna do Swan things if she ever actually makes it. And of course, our Sigma dies because we're running a lot of high HP mods, but we've gotten the DP that we actually needed, and any more would kind of mess up our timing, so it works out that Sigma does die. I mean, we could have taken one or two more, but one more DP and been okay, but I think Sigma dying actually works out in our favor better. And this is absolutely hilarious. I do not understand why that ulti gets to cancel out everybody else's ulti, but we don't get to see Horsey right now. But it's okay. We'll get to see it later. Now, if our units ever wake up, I don't know why anybody thought a 10-second sleep every 12 seconds was the greatest idea in the world, but seeing as we only have one anti-sleep unit, and B-side decided to make a mod that says you need 4 cost or more, which, by the way, count the awakens on the screen. Holy shit. Like, this is what 4 cost or more means. Awaken side only. Jesus. But we're coming up close to the end here. Now, luckily I did find a way to sit here and line up some bursts a little better. We don't get the full Vivian buff, but honestly, it's good enough. We're gonna get our final stack from Swan to get 90% Death Break. We're gonna get an Aegea buff. It's not the best, but it lines up with a couple ultis here. And we do have most of our Vivian buff left, so it does a pretty good chunk. And then Eve finishing off the boss right before she dies. Did Amy do anything? No. And as we can see, our top 3 damage dealers are the most OP Awakens in the game, and then Amy doing absolutely nothing. Rosaria could take her place, but it doesn't matter. For the invested team, we are running Tempest and Vivian with an A speed operator. You can run crit damage, but you have to adjust Hilde's stats to compensate. She needs to, with these mods, or just in general, she needs to have around 30% A speed and at least 25% skill haste, or she will get knocked back and that'll cause a wipe. Sigma, for how long they stay out, just skill haste as much as you can. If you can fit ground res, that's even better. Sinjia, well, obviously we just put as much skill haste as we can on her. Tanky, skill haste, it's fine. She doesn't really actually take damage. Kurian, we are running just full damage, anti-tower, anti-ground. We got a cute little crit res right there. It doesn't really matter because we got shields. Swan, again, tanky, CDR is the safest. We want her to use her skills as quickly as possible. Eve, anti-tower, anti-ground. those are going to be the stats you want. So attack, set, A speed. I'm going with crit damage. For Mordred, we're doing the double anti-tower for her with anti-ground, but attack will also work just as well. Crit damage set is also good too. And Amy has no purpose on this team. She had 11 seconds on the field and did absolutely nothing. Not because I put no gear, because she doesn't even get a chance to attack. You can use a Rosa instead. She's just here for the buff. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you get the minimum score this season. I'm hoping this new format spices things up a bit. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Institute by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link is in the description, and if you want to help support this channel, there's a link in the description for that too. As always, I will see you all next time.